Welcome to Design Santa Barbara. I'm Michael Courage, and today we are in Santa Barbara Design Center. In the past seasons, we have featured great artists in the history. This week, we are going to explore one of the greatest artist movements, Impressionism. Please join us. Impressionism is characterized by small, thin but visible brushstrokes, open composition, emphasis on accurate depiction of light in its changing qualities, ordinary subject matter, inclusion of movement as a crucial element of human perception and experience, and unusual visual angles. The term is derived from Claude Monet's 1872 oil on canvas titled Impression Sunrise. Considered to be radicals, the Impressionists abandoned traditional concepts of studio painting in favor of painting in plein air. In early 1860s France, four young painters, Claude Monet, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Alfred Sisley, and Frédéric Bazille, discovered that they shared an interest in painting landscape and contemporary life rather than historical or mythological scenes. Following a practice that had become increasingly popular by mid-century, they often ventured into the countryside together to paint in the open air. By painting in sunlight directly from nature and making bold use of vivid synthetic pigments that had become available since the beginning of the century, they began to develop a lighter and brighter manner of painting. Seeking the approval of the contemporary art world, many paintings were submitted to the most important annual critique in France, known as the Salon de Paris. The traditionalists at the Salon often rejected Impressionists' work, causing outrage. In 1863, Emperor Napoleon III decreed that salons would be judged by the people rather than the just critics, and the Impressionists established their own Salon of the Refused. Many came just to laugh at the artists, with Monet and Paul Cézanne receiving the harshest criticism. Some said their work looked like unfinished sketches. The individual artists achieved few financial rewards from the Impressionist exhibitions, but their art gradually won a degree of public acceptance and support. The movement soon expanded to include Edgar Degas, who in turn invited Marie Cassatt. Disagreement over use of color and composition caused rifts among the Impressionists, and experiments such as Degas' use of photography to capture his dancing subjects in specific poses angered Monet. By the late 1880s, Impressionism had become an established art school, and many of the surviving founders were financially secured. When we come back, we will explore the lives of some of the most famous Impressionists.
Santa Barbara Design Center presents Hooker Furniture. Come tour the Hooker Furniture collection at our fabulous Santa Barbara Design Center showroom, 410 Olive Street.
This week on Design FYI, we're going to talk about sofas and the unknown mistakes people make. Did you know average American spends 46 minutes a day in a car, but they spend 5 hours and 4 minutes on average on a sofa? So why would you go out there and spend tens of thousands of dollars for something you use for 46 minutes and then go ahead and buy something cheap that you sit on it for 5 hours and 4 minutes? At Santa Barbara Design Center, we create your custom sofa that is made for you specifically and to your shape and size and comfort and your family. So when you're sitting and watching TV or talking and conversing with your friends, you're sitting on actually something that represents you. Your car represents you. Why shouldn't your sofa? Thank you for joining us on Design FYI this week, and please come see me at Santa Barbara Design Center, 410 Olive, and let me help you find the right sofa for you and your family. We live in one of the most beautiful locations in the world. I've raised my kids here. I love it here. What we offer at Santa Barbara Design Center isn't just furniture. It's a chance to turn a house into a home. What may look like a deal online, it's very different when it shows up. It's something to be said for feeling it before it becomes part of your life. We are here to help guide you through this wonderful process. We are Santa Barbara Design Center. Come start your journey with us. Welcome back to Design Santa Barbara. This week we are exploring the great Impressionist painters. Now we are going to look at some of the individual lives of the Impressionist movement's most famous figures. No discussion of Impressionism begins without talking about Claude Monet. Born in Paris and raised in Le Havre, Monet wanted to be an artist from a young age and was encouraged by his mother, who was a singer. After returning to Paris to study art, Monet frequented the Louvre Museum. He witnessed other painters copying great works hanging on the gallery, but decided to instead paint the landscapes he saw out the museum windows. After meeting like-minded artists such as Renoir and the establishment of Impressionism, Monet and his family moved to England, seeking refuge from the Franco-Prussian War. This allowed Monet to further study the works of J.M.W. Turner and John Constable. His two greatest muses were his first wife Camille, who tragically died at the age of 32, and the gardens of Giverny, where Monet spent the latter part of his life. Here he continued to study landscapes, how light affects color, and what became a recurring subject, water lilies. Next, we will look at the life of Pierre-Auguste Renoir. Renoir was born in 1841 to a middle-class family. His father was a tailor, and in 1844, he moved the family to Paris seeking more work. The family settled close to the Louvre, which allowed the young Renoir many chances to explore the galleries. Showing a talent for drawing at a young age, Renoir was put into an apprenticeship at a porcelain shop, but abandoned this position to attend art school. At this time, Renoir met his fellow Impressionists. Distinctly the poorest of the group, he often couldn't afford paint. Renoir was inspired by the style and subject matter of previous modern painters Camille Pissarro and Edouard Manet. Hoping to secure a livelihood by attracting portrait commissions, Renoir displayed mostly portraits at the Second Impressionist exhibition in 1876. Gaining fame, Renoir traveled Europe, meeting and painting well-known individuals. His portrait of composer Richard Wagner was painted in less than 1 hour. In later years, Renoir moved to the Mediterranean coast because of arthritis. As his arthritis progressed, he often strapped his brush to his hand so he could continue to paint. Just months before his death in 1919, Renoir returned to Paris to see his work hanging in the Louvre next to the masters that he admired as a boy. When we come back, we will be looking at two more great Impressionist artists. Stay tuned, there is lots more coming after the break.
Santa Barbara Design Center is pleased to introduce Summer Classics. Tour our fabulous showroom of luxury outdoor furniture by Summer Classics, including their signature Montecito line. Designed for year-round use and made from durable materials, find your perfect outdoor collection today. Summer Classics at Santa Barbara Design Center, 410 Olive Street.
Today I would like to talk to you about rugs. 3 important things to remember when you are buying a rug. First is the size. Size is very important, and this is what you have to do your study. So if it's for a living room, I recommend to have the front legs of all the furniture to sit on the certain rug you're buying. So go measure it. Make sure you have at least a foot extended beyond the front legs. If you can afford it, get a rug that encompasses all the furniture to be sitting on it. So usually for a living room, you're talking an 8x10, 9x12, a bigger living room, 10x14, and if you want something to sit on it, 12x15 or 12x18. Second, there is a style. It is very important that the style you pick matches the house you have. Check the room. Is it a traditional house? Is it a modern house? Is it a transitional house? You pick the style matching your house and your living style. Lastly, and one of the most important steps, is the type of rug you're gonna buy. I highly recommend you to do your study and see what type of rug is good for your situation. Most rugs I recommend are hand knotted. So these are the type of rugs that they're done by hand. They're mostly natural fibers. They don't have any chemicals. They don't have any machines involved making it. They're hand knotted and they get more valuable over the time, and they're very durable and long lasting. These are 3 things to remember when you're buying a rug. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to Design Santa Barbara. This week we are exploring the great Impressionist artists. Next we will be looking at the lives of 2 artists whose inclusion in the movement caused uproar among its founders. Edgar Degas was born in Paris in 1834 to a moderately wealthy family. He graduated with a degree in literature but always had an affinity for drawing. After abandoning a career in law, Degas entered art school and made a living by copying great masters' works. Despite being welcomed into the movement, Degas disliked the term Impressionists and attempted to distance himself from his contemporaries in the public circles, but also personally collected the works of Cézanne and Manet. Financially successful, Degas was able to branch out into other art forms including photography and sculpting. His interest in dancers and the movements of their bodies was a constant throughout his adult life. Many of his works are distinct in their psychological examination of loneliness and social structure. Degas frequently painted in cafes, theaters, and other public locations. Degas, who believed that the artist must live alone and his private life must remain unknown, shied from public life. In 1915, just before his death, a Russian filmmaker bribed Degas' maid to take him on a walk through the streets of Paris so they could capture him on film. These 10 seconds are the only known film of Degas. Our last profile is of Mary Cassatt, who is distinct in being one of the first women included in the Impressionist movement and an American among French painters. Cassatt was born in Allegheny City, Pennsylvania, now part of Pittsburgh, to a wealthy, upper-class family in 1844. Her family believed traveling was a key component to her education, and she spent 5 of her childhood years touring Europe. Though her family objected to her becoming a professional artist, Cassatt began studying painting at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts in Philadelphia at the early age of 15. As women were allowed to study but not receive degrees, Cassatt dropped out of school and moved to Paris. There she found that women were not allowed to even apply to art school, so she independently paid teachers from the schools to train her outside of class. Still considering herself a traditionalist, Cassatt submitted several pieces to the Salon de Paris, but was continually rejected. This further attracted her to the Impressionist movement. With war breaking out in Europe during the 1870s, Cassatt returned to the United States for an extended period of time, where she further established herself in art circles, gaining commissions and financial independence from her family. Upon her return to Paris, Cassatt finally received the recognition she desired. Her painting, Two Women Throwing Flowers During Carnival, was received at the Salon and was also purchased. Cassatt also became a close friend and collaborator with Edgar Degas, who lived just 5 minutes away from her. Worried that marriage would stifle her career, Cassatt remained single her entire life. She eventually invited her family to come to Paris, which allowed her subjects to paint and much-needed companionship. In 1910, Cassatt traveled to Egypt, which greatly affected her. She stated that she was crushed by the strength of the art, and soon after ended her career in art. Once thought of as French extremists, many Impressionists failed to see their work become commercially successful. Today, Impressionist masters' work sells for tens of millions of dollars and grace the walls of the world's finest museums. I encourage you to seek out these great works of art. Visit the museum and take in their beauty yourself. It will enrich your life. Thank you for joining us as we explore this beautiful era. This week on Michael's Minute, we are going to talk about rug cleaning and restoration. A fine rug is a family treasure often passed on from generation to generation. Rugs need to be properly taken care of to ensure their survival and protect your investment. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we are the foremost experts in professional cleaning, repairing, and preserving your rugs. Rugs should be hand washed every 3 to 5 years to maintain structure. When was the last time you washed your rugs? Proper cleaning can extend the longevity of your rug, whereas steam cleaning can damage it. Restorations by Rugs & More include hand stitching, fixing fringes and sides, and reviving worn pile. For the finest restoration and cleaning, bring your rugs into Rugs & More at Santa Barbara Design Center today, 410 Olive Street. My grandfather taught me about the beauty of the rugs. Each one tells a story. Story about the person who wove it, the person who bought it, the person who inherits it, the person who treasures it. It's amazing how simply looking at an object can bring you back to a different place and time, or remind you of someone you love. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we want to help you find a rug that will travel through time with your family for generations to come. Visit us at 410 Olive Street and find your treasure today. Hi, I'm Michael Kourosh, and today we are in Santa Barbara Design Center, heading south to Carpinteria. Carpinteria is a beautiful beach town south of Santa Barbara, and today we're gonna go visit my dear friend Lisa Wilson Goldmans, and she has a wonderful project at the beach on the bluffs, and I'm really excited to see what she has done today. Good morning, Lisa.
Michael, welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. How are you?
I'm ever so well.
That was a beautiful drive I had here.
It's gorgeous, right?
Amazing looking. It just looks like somewhere not in California. I don't know what it is, but it's beautiful.
Well, we are in California.
It's beautiful.
Carpinteria specifically.
Carpinteria.
Those gorgeous homes on the ocean.
I can see the ocean from here. It's beautiful. So what is the story?
The house looks very old, but it's not. It was actually built in the mid-'80s. The family who's owned it for about 15 years recently lost their matriarch.
Oh, sorry.
And this was a much-loved family home for them. They have asked me to freshen it. They are ready to let it go and move on, which of course for a lot of people is emotional, as you know. We felt like it really needed a facelift. So we've done that, and I want to show you.
Love to see it,
Great.
please.
Come on in.
Thank you.
As I said, a lot of times that's emotional. It was built to look old, 35 years ago, which meant dark and a lot of old beams and heavy curtains. What we've done is made it fresh and bright, so it really reflects 2018 instead of something that would have been in the Cotswolds 200 years ago.
From outside, it kind of looked, but from the colors, it didn't. You did a wonderful job. Again, we talked about I have been here 20 years ago, and it was very dark. As you say, you were lucky, like you go into a really old chateau, and it was
Right.
really heavy. You come in, it's like airy, and actually the white color you painted makes everything look taller and fresher and younger. Very
And
nice.
that's what we've done. We've painted all of the beams that were very dark white. We've replaced chandeliers, and we've just exceeded the limits of the old dark things. And we've brought in California-centric, relaxed.
Beautiful colors, as I say. I mean, I just walked in and it looks, everything is like fresh, looks like ocean almost, like, you know, you're next to the beachy look.
Well, so often these homes are second homes for people, and their first homes are quite formal or somewhere else. We liked the idea of this being what I like to think of as cashmere casual.
Very true.
Let's go see the living room because I think it's
I'm
just
excited to
really
see that.
It's luxuriously comfortable.
I remember it was very dark and heavy, but let's
Well,
see.
it isn't anymore.
All right.
The living room steps down and you get a wonderful view of the ocean, but you also have these beautiful beams, a beautiful fireplace, lots of seating room. I just love this room.
This is beautiful. I mean, it looks like so light, airy, and looks like you're in a high-end resort. I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but it's so clean and neat.
Well,
Beautiful.
you want it to be relaxing. You want it to feel like you're in a resort because if you're here on the weekend or you've had a busy day, you want to come in here and just
Forget
sit.
about it.
Right.
Sit down there and just beautiful sofas. I love those chairs. They're just beautiful.
Thank you. I actually got those at your place.
Oh, thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Yes, I remember these. They're beautiful.
Well, and you do such a good job, as we've talked about before, with custom sofas. So when I called you and I said I want 2 7-foot sofas, I want them to be white, I want slope arms. Look what you delivered.
Thank
well
you so
done.
much. Yes, they look beautiful here. And that's why you're successful, because you make everything specifically for that spot. Whereas a lot of designers don't do that. I
Well.
should say that too. So that's what makes you special. I mean, you design this thing, looks like flawless.
The things that were here, which were beautiful and done, again, a couple decades ago, were lovely and they were beautiful quality, but they were of a different era. Things were big and things were dark, and there were lots of heavy antiques. And that's just not how we're living today. So when we're ready to move on, when we're ready to let something go, it's important for other people to see a house as it needs to live today. And I think it was important too for a family that's letting go to be able to see the house in a new light, because it helps. It's like, it's not ours anymore, we can let this go. I think the other thing we always talk about is in large rooms that don't have a central area, how do you do seating arrangements? So it's not just 2 sofas in front of a fireplace and we've neglected everything else. This has seating for a vignette here with some people. You can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. You can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 2 people here who want to cozy up at the fireplace.
16 people sitting.
7 and 7, 14, 15, 16. Notice what we've also done in the hallway with the 2 other benches.
ottomans.
They can bring those down here. Easily an entertaining space then for 18 people at the drop of a hat.
If they invite me, I stand. It's not a problem, you know.
Having said that, if there's only 3 or 4 people here, you don't feel vastly overwhelmed. You can have those people right there and you feel like you're still cozy.
Beautiful. That's absolutely true. What I like about what you said is, you know, you did the house completely different. So the person who's selling it, it just feels like, no, okay, this is not, emotional attachment is not there. So they let it go. And the good thing for us is the styles change every 7 to 10 years. Imagine everybody sticks with the old things, it would be out of business.
Probably. So the other really fun room is the family room. Some people call it the family room. Somebody called it the game room, the bar.
The den, whatever it is. Let's
the
go
den.
check it
Let's
out.
go that way. So, not a bad view.
It says it all.
Beautiful ocean. This room was more like a hunting lodge. So we removed the antler chandelier, even though it was well loved. And we just, again, made it more relaxed. We reviewed the seating and realized that a sectional worked really well for the way people live today. And TV in the cabinet, but again, a really great fireplace. It's a big room. We'll take a little tour.
I like the sectional, actually. This is just about every family room you do, you put a sectional in.
Well, I, again, as you know, have 4 kids and 3 dogs. And when my family was growing up, this is what we liked to do. We loved watching TV and snuggling together. And I think that just says, welcome home.
Beautiful.
So the difference between this room and the living room is that this feels a lot more cozy. And there isn't as many vignettes. This is where you snuggle. So we have just good seats, and we've got a really great big seating area. And things aren't precious. Things are, throw
Till you
yourself
fit a
on
lot
it.
of people in it,
You
though.
can fit a bunch of people in
I
here.
was looking at it. There's plenty of people you can fit in here. It's a big family.
A big family. And again, the bar, we can circle around. Then we've also put over here in the corner a little place for games because, again, it is that type of room. We have 5 people at the bar, we've got a place for checkers and chess, and you've still got a nice big alleyway to get in and out of the French doors. And we've just made it a little less serious than the main rooms and relaxing and
Look at the ocean.
and again, it's pretty much all about the view.
It's heaven. It's amazingly beautiful, and you made such a nice, actually change. So we have seen the photos of before and after.
Yeah.
The selection of the pillows you did, they're quite interesting. I mean, you would think about it, you know, why would you pick that? And look at how beautiful they look together.
There was a very well-known Southern designer called Charles Foudray a long time ago, and he was hilarious. He said, "Darling, it's not about the match, it's about the mix."
Oh,
And I always,
you have 6 different type of pillows there. I mean, it's interesting.
but we've kept the blue and white vernacular. We've just made them different sizes and different patterns.
They have some sort of ethnic look to them too. It's beautiful, very nice.
Thank you.
Lisa, I want to thank you very much again. It's always a pleasure having you on our show, and this beautiful, breathtaking property, it just tops it off. Thank you.
Michael, you're so welcome. It's always fun for me, and I like sharing what I do. I think it helps people imagine the possibilities for what they can do.
Thank you. That's what I love working with Lisa. She always has something new and something exciting, and her projects are always beautiful. Thank you for joining us. See you next week on Design Santa Barbara.